I think that with rap music and the conversation about it not being in the Billboard Top 50 anymore, we saw the Smino tweet where it was like, rap is back underground again. And I think that that's kind of vague to someone who maybe doesn't all the way know what's going on. And I think it is hard to kind of have a nuanced conversation about this because I think rap not being in the Billboard Top 10 is a good and bad thing. And you just have to understand how we move forward with that and not make the genre worse as a whole, because I think rap can be and is in a good place. You just can't, like, at the top level, right? The shit that gets on the Billboard, the shit that gets pushed, the shit that gets viral, a lot of those factors and the things that lead to that can be controlled by whether it's record labels, Billboard itself, whatever. You can pay to get that New Music Friday slot. You know what I mean? A lot of those aesthetic things. What you can't fake is fan bases coming out and supporting new music. If you sell D2C stuff, you know what I mean? That's all very authentic. So you see someone like JID, you see someone like Smino. Both of them just did tours and sold amazing tickets all across the United States off no single, off no big project. Smino dropped Maybe in Nirvana, and I don't think that was really making a lot of noise. So independent rap and these smaller organizations are still able to feed their fan bases, work in their niches, and have very fruitful careers. And they're making great music on top of that. I love the shit that Smino's been a part of this year. I think the JID album is one of my favorite projects this year. We're seeing Clips kind of moving on their accord. Their shit isn't charting, but they're dominating the conversation in hip hop. And I think we can all agree that their album was a positive thing that dropped. Mm-hmm. So I kind of think that maybe this is a good thing that rap is being looked at this in the mainstream media and maybe the genre is getting stronger. What's you guys' take on that?
And I want to continue to develop this, but I do feel like it's a good thing just because if rap is going underground, right, that means that the people that like actually appreciate like hip hop and rap at its core are going to continue to consume it, while the people that were just fair weather fans are going to move on to something else.
Exactly.
And I do feel like from a consumption standpoint, while it may not be the best for sales, if you spent the time building up an independent fan base, or at least a fan base that is like there for not only your music, but your persona, the merch you put out, like the real product that you provide and the brand that you've built up, you're going to win in this economy because you've already have a loyal fan base. I think Larry June is somebody that is a perfect example of that. He's been quote unquote underground or like not really a mainstream rap figure for years, but he's found a way to build up a fan base that is going to support him for life, and he's going to be rich. If he's already rich, but like that's going to make him money forever. You know, I think if you're able to like build like that, like a Smino, like a Larry June, I think Samaritan's doing an incredible job of that right now. Like really build up these niche communities that really like mess with you and your art. You're going to be fine. You know 100%. What I mean?
Yeah, I think it depends. Your question depends on who you're asking. Who is it good or bad for? You know what I'm saying? Because I think just like honestly, like it's bad for rappers. It's bad for people to make rap music. It's bad because it's no longer the most poppin' genre. And
But if you're making money off your tours and you're still being profitable, why does it matter if you're on a Billboard chart or not?
Because there's less resources from major companies to help support your art.
But you don't need those. Those companies don't want us. Those companies should no longer benefit off us. If you look at all these major record labels, if you look at all these institutions, they're getting rid of black people. They're firing black people. They don't have people who could speak to culture. They don't have anyone who understands rap music. So I don't think that these labels are trying to make money off rap music, so they shouldn't. So we don't need those resources anyways. But if rappers are still able to move on their own accord with their own smaller organizations and make money, it's fine if they're not getting
but they could do that anyway.
What you mean?
They can move on their own accord. Larry June did it while rap was the most popular genre in the world.
Exactly.
Like
and
you could, like at any time you could do that. That's the right way to develop. But what I'm saying is what happened. I don't think it's any sort, like we all have been in meetings, have been behind some closed doors in the industry. I don't think this is like a malicious thing where there was a choice made to like move rap out of the spotlight.
I completely disagree.
I really think it's just cultural trends. We've seen it throughout the history of music, ebbs and flows. What happens with culture is when something becomes the most popular, the counterculture always becomes cooler and the counterculture always bubbles until that becomes the new culture. And so when nothing is going to stay on top of the charts forever. Nothing ever has. So realistically, rap ruled for 8, 9 years, really long run. The culture shifted. There's other kinds of music people are interested in right now. And so I think a lot of the moves within the industry were following cultural consumption trends. I don't think they were malicious moves made by C-suite executives.
I think it's a symptom of a problem that started years ago when rap was still thriving. I think when Kendrick, Drake, Meg, Nicki, all of these people were dropping hitters, Cardi at the peak of her powers with Invasion of Privacy, all these people were going crazy, right? That was the product of years of artist development and the genre growing in the right direction, having the right people in these buildings to where their music could be cultivated and grown and their fan base were created in a good way. I think after them, and once they were already popping and it was kind of set in motion, I think that slowly but surely over the last, let's say, 6 years, 6, 7 years even. Oh, well, damn it. I didn't mean to do that. Over the last 6 years, I think we could all agree that there's been slowly just black executives getting pushed out. Things happening to where people in positions of power and people who have influence within these companies are no longer able to speak to the black experience or what's going to move black culture. So then when you have all of these new artists getting signed, there's no one in this building who knows how to work their projects. I think you're seeing a lot of black music at major labels that's pretty good not get worked the right way and not get pushed the right way. So these artists have viral moments, but they don't have careers really established. And then they flame out after 2 projects with them and they get dropped.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I think I noticed this happening more like 2 or 3 of the past years. I don't think in 2019 I was seeing this like exodus of black executives. I think that was the moment when record labels were really building their black staffs to push the most popular music in the world.
I feel like it's been a conversation since I've heard about the industry that there's just not black people in these rooms that are having conversation. There's obviously been people who have been able to be successful in spite of this, but there's not that many black executives in power. I think there was obviously Sylvia at Epic. Mm-hmm. There was Kevin at 300. Mm-hmm. Besides those 2, I don't know any others that are like that level at majors, right?
I mean, well, United Masters is a major, but Steve Stout.
Yeah, but I'm talking majors.
Damn, I really should know. But
so the shit's really been a thing. You know what I mean? And now it just seems like it's come to a head and there's nothing we could do about it. So now like it's kind of just get it how you live and get your resources somewhere else because I don't think you could really go to that pot anymore.
Yeah,
consistently.
Which is why I say that it like, yes, still build your, like use the Larry June model. Definitely build your touring, build your touring revenue, build your D2C revenue, ground up foundation. Yes, of course. But I'm saying rap doesn't need to go underground for people to do that. That was always something they could have done. Now there's just less alternative routes for people to take.
But when you're not trying to be the biggest genre in the world and you're not trying to be mainstream, you're not trying to be Billboard, and you're not trying to be radio, you're able to focus your energy more effectively and super serve your audience. Because when you're not trying to please everyone, now I could just please Larry June fans. I could just please Mike fans. And make a living off that consistently and figure out ways to do merch, vinyl, and all that other shit and do my shows to where I'm still having an abundant amount of income. I have a fan base. I'm growing. But just like, it's underground shit. It's not, because I think underground is like is the wrong word to use.
No, I know what you're saying. And I agree. Because that's kind of what I was saying about culture is when something is on top, it's not going to stay on top forever because now you're making music to chart. You know what I mean? You're putting money in other people's pockets. Like you're trying to do too much. Like the best shit always comes from a situation more like that. And that's why there are always going to be ebbs and flows within each genre. So yeah, I think hip hop is going to go down and become niche and be subculture for X amount of years. But I think it is probably actually going to make the music better. And it's probably going to rise again in 5-10 years and have another crazy moment where we actually have superstars of the caliber of a Drake, of a Kendrick, of a J. Cole to really like take us, of a Cardi B, of a Nicki, Lil Wayne. I think it just needs a little time to develop.
Yeah, I think there's also a couple interesting things happening too. Like I think it's layers to it because the black music executive no longer really being in the label system is a thing. I think the whole creation of short form content also did a number on rap because I feel like the barrier to entry got even lower than it's always been. And like people were signing things that didn't really make sense. Like you would sign a viral trend that was like a rap song. And then all of a sudden that artist with no artist development is just sitting in the system, like trying to figure out like what their next move is. Nobody internally knows what to do. So then that's out. And then also too, like we're in a weird political state right now. Like, bro, the MAGA mindset like literally rules over this country right now. Yeah. Pop and country music, like white people are trying to be white again. Like, let's be real. That's really what they're on right now. White people are going back to pop and country music to represent them, and they're going to those shows and they're doing that thing. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say that that's all just like MAGA, but the point I'm making overall is that there is a cultural shift in what the public is consuming as well.
Yeah.
And so that goes back to your point, because while I do want to be fist up and be like, oh, nah, like people are working against us, it's a combination of different things, right? Like it's also that the mainstream is not necessarily tapping into this music anymore. And the last thing that I will put out there is the fall of, and I don't want to put this all on one man because I do feel like this is a big thing, but I think that Drake falling kind of revealed this whole thing, because he's really the one that charts. And he's really the one that's going to drop an album every single year. Kendrick, of course, is going to chart. J. Cole, of course, is going to chart. But they're not as consistent as him. So him being taken out the picture, that was a big chess move taken out of like the whole hip hop scene.
But that's interesting because what you just said with Drake, Kendrick, Cole, the only one out of the three of them that I feel like has really kind of played the major game is Drake.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Drake has kind of always, before the last couple of years, been like a label darling, it seems like. Like Universal was excited to throw the big check at him.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than saying that he was like, I feel like he might have been putting a Band-Aid over the issue.
Yes, that's what I meant.
That's
what I meant.
I don't know, but like, do we want to big up that? Like, was Drake giving the people a path that is repeatable? Can you learn
like throughout his career?
Like in 2025, could a rapper really move like Drake and be successful? Like, is there going to be a way to like, I think that
what do you mean? Like in the music that they make, in the way that they run their business? Like,
in the way that they run their business.
So he's, actually super interesting because I think yes at his core, but no. Because his real problem is that Drake fell off because he decided to continue playing the game and try and keep up with the youth and ride trends. I feel like the reason that he was falling off in the first place was because he wasn't making quality music anymore. He was trying to ride waves. And I think that is something people can learn from.
Who is the last well-spoken, non-street rapper to get signed to a label and given all the resources in the world, development, features, budget to push the shit, like everything?
Like in the last 5 years?
Sure. You can go 10.
I mean, somebody... Oh.
Jack Harlow.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to joke around. I was going to really try and answer your question.
That's the only one.
But you're saying that... Okay, I was going to say it as a joke, but you're saying that as the truth.
That's what they want to push. That is what, if you want to be if you want to be a rapper, it seems like that's the only situation that they're going to be pushing your shit if you're not doing some street shit.
I mean, you said not street, and this kind of walks the line, but I think about Roddy Ricch in 2020. That seemed like the whole Atlantic system was all the way behind him.
Not mad at that.
You know, I just think he dropped a bad album and fell off, you know?
Rod Wave, do you think he's kind of done it?
I don't know.
I was thinking last 5 years. I feel like Rod Wave was signed a little earlier than the pandemic.
Yeah.
So,
but also, so my question
also,
is,
it's not necessarily like he'd be rapping, but I would say it's more just like, bro, I don't even know what to define it as. People define Rod Wave as hip hop and R&B, or sorry, hip hop and rap, but he be singing, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so as a follow up question to that, who is somebody that should have gotten that in the past 5 years? A new artist that's that talented, that could make music, that would cross over everywhere, that deserved the massive check that didn't get it.
I would say, I'd probably say my best two answers off the top of my head would be Red Veil and Jid. I feel like didn't get the support that maybe could have taken them to the next level a little bit more.
I agree with the Red Veil take. I feel like, when did Red Veil really become a thing? Was it 2020?
I don't know if he's ever, but is he signed to? I think he was signed to a major.
So there was a point where Red Veil was like really bubbling, like really gonna be like the underground, like darling, the person.
Yeah.
And I feel like he kind of like moved away from that. And I do feel like maybe if there was more support there, or maybe if there was a stronger like plan and mission statement.
Maybe.
there.
Because it seems like we just didn't hear from him.
But I like,
and that could be a problem of getting signed and then not getting work, right?
I like the JID conversation. I think that was someone who was pushing a decent message, was not doing any street shit, but had also shown commercial success that it didn't even, like, I didn't need like a bunch of label people to come and give him direction, but I don't know. I feel like he just could have had maybe bigger budget, more push, like just some more fanfare around him that could have been created by them, because he was giving you songs like a Stick on that Dreamville tape.
Yeah.
I think that was a really big streaming song.
Yeah.
Like that 151 Rum song. He had the fucking Ceiling Challenge song. Like he's done shit that is like really moved on the internet. Yet I feel like he kind of is moving like an indie artist. Why is this new album not getting more conversation? And it's really good too. Why is it not moved like the Doechii album? Doechii got a push,
Yeah.
but she's indie. Like with
She's
TDE,
not
or not
indie.
indie. She has but another thing. She has TDE,
Yeah.
and I guess JID has Dreamville.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're both signed to majors.
Do you? But it's interesting you bring up Doechii because we like Doechii here. You know what I mean? But you do see how the mainstream, quote unquote, has been reacting to Doechii. It hasn't always been positive.
And it does
just
feel like a lot when it's
It's the shit, bro. It's a brutal industry. They'll build you up, and then as soon as everybody likes you, now everybody's gonna start shitting on you. But at the end of the day, yes, Twitter has nasty words for Doechii, but I'm sure you guys have seen the clips from this tour that she just started.
Yeah.
Selling out massive rooms. Like people love Doechii. I think there's Twitter is a propaganda machine in itself.
Yeah.
That I think we've all seen behind. And like if you actually gauge what the culture thinks based on what's being seen on Twitter, I think you're doing yourself a disservice.
I think bots and propaganda can get used both ways though. Because
you
now
mean?
I think niggas just write off all hate as bots. I think niggas just can't. Like sometimes niggas just really don't fuck with your shit. Like,
Right, but I'm just saying you can't.
not to say that this is about Doechii either. I like Doechii. I seen a lot of people because I saw Meg had a similar thing. Meg was on live talking after her recent release, and she was like, "Don't you think all the Meg Thee Stallion hate you see online is a little bit like weird? Like it's a little bit much, you know what I mean? It's because it's not real. It's bots. It's people paying on her downfall." And I'm not gonna say that there's not those type of bots and people pushing negative narratives and shit like that. But I also don't think we could just say that all hate is manufactured. And sometimes people are critical of your art.
Yeah,
And
I'm
that's
not
fine.
spending my hard-earned money toward hate.
You know
You
what
know
I
what
mean?
I mean? Like to preying on people's
Like not
downfall.
everyone talking shit is getting paid. And again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm directing it at them. I've heard a bunch of people use this take. It's like the niggas who like, you ever heard a nigga say like, damn, I'm shadow banned. It's like, nah, nigga, you just have no motion. no one is checking for you, gang.